welcome to realityfuturestrading.com. In today's video, I am going to be covering some of the different things and how I actually use the Eagle Trend Trader. Now I'm going to be showing you this on the NASDAQ, as that is one of my favorite markets to trade. And basically what you're looking at is, on the left hand side of the screen is a 12-tick mean Renko bar. On the right side we have an 8-tick mean Renko bar. Now the first thing that you're going to notice is this: the setups and the signals, they're all going to remain the same. It's just that when you use a smaller bar, it's going to give you a signal perhaps a little bit sooner, and it might give it to you a little bit more often than the 12-tick bar. Now, like I was saying in the post, we suggest you use a 12-tick bar. However, if you find something that works better for you and better for your trading style, then please, by all means, use it. All right, let's take a look at this first trade of the morning here that showed up right around, looks like about 20 after 8 Mountain Standard Time. This is an ideal setup. We've got a nice green filter. The band is nice and wide. Soft edge is up on the top. We get our warning dot. We get a long entry triangle, and then we get our hash mark right here, and we still have a little bit of room to get to the high of the day. And as you can see, it works out for the first and second profit target pretty easy. And in this case, had I have entered there, I'd still be in a runner right now as we speak. So if we move over here to the 8 range chart, you see that it doesn't wipe out the noise quite as much as the 12 range chart. However, it does produce a signal right here, and honestly, I would have been pretty tempted to take that signal because price was moving up above the Globex open. Now, I do suggest that you be careful around the regular trading hour and the Globex open. It's just a personal thing for me, but I tend to find that I don't like it when it hangs around the Globex open. That's just one of my personal hang-ups. Doesn't mean it has to be one of yours. Now, in this case here, to confirm that we may have a valid trade on the 8 range and we'd be getting a better fill, you could look over here to your Eagle Trend Trader with the 12-tick mean Renko bar, and you can see in this case that price was definitely starting to push its way up through the Globex open. So here's a case where I actually get a 5 or 6 tick better fill than I would have over here on my 12 range. Okay, here for my next example of why I like using an 8 range as well as the 12 range is this. If we look over here at our 12 range chart, we do get a valid entry right here. However, you can see we took a little bit of heat on this, but the trade does work out for the first and second profit targets pretty easy. Now, looking over here at the 8 range chart, I get a cleaner bar pattern with the 8 range. Price pops, I pull back, I don't break through my hard edge, and then I continue on up again. Now, this entry right here, it gives me plenty of room to get from my entry up to the high of the day, and of course eventually we see that it does get up there for first, second targets, and even a runner if you wanted to hang on to it into the evening hours. But you're going to notice here with this entry, which is much cleaner than this entry right here because our bar is outside of the band, the entry comes at the high of the day. Also, this entry comes just a few minutes before the extended regular trading hour close. So I get a more solid entry right here. Now, what I haven't shared with you yet is one of the biggest reasons that I opted for the 8 range chart is because even if I have my entry here at 34.50, I survived the heat, not a big deal, made my targets, but if my entry is at 34.50, I like to use the pivots as a stop. So my pivot needs to be down here at about 27.50. So that's a full 7-point stop to take my entry here on the 12 range chart. Now in the case of the 8 range chart, My entry is going to be here at 37 even, and my stop is going to be down here. You know what, why don't we just call it 32 to keep it simple, for a 5-point stop as opposed to a 7. So I like the fact that because I use an 8-range chart, it gives me a little bit more of an advantage with a tighter stop. All right, well, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you found it to be helpful. My big point of making this video is this: although we suggest using a 12-tick mean Renko bar with the Eagle Trend Trader, you can use whatever size bar suits your trading style. Ultimately, for trading, in my opinion, it comes down to this: you're a day trader and you are an individual, and you need to find something that works for you. I first started tinkering with the Eagle Trend Trader when one of my students told me he was actually using the Eagle Trend Trader with a 6-range bar, and he's been pretty successful with it. That being said, I hope you found the video to be informative, and I hope I encourage you to experiment and branch out. If you have any questions or you want to discuss any of this, please feel free to email me at ray@realityfuturestrading.com. Thanks and have a great day.